Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault, and today is a LEGO studio tour. I haven't shown the studio off in quite a while, and I know I've been getting requests on sort of what's going on in our area, what's going on, what's updated and stuff, and so this is going to be sort of a general, comprehensive kind of look through the whole studio area. I know the recent studio update I did just kind of focused on a few little sections. I'm going to try to go through everything at least a little bit. So I think this is where we're starting. This is the main room. And if you guys have seen previous versions of the studio update, you'll notice that there's either a lot more stuff on the shelves, and some of the stuff that you've seen on the shelves before has been moved around quite a bit. So the first thing I guess I want to show off a little bit more is, yeah, this is the final resting place, or at least the current resting place for the LEGO Millennium Falcon UCS. This is the latest one from 2017. This set is just amazing. Now, in general, I think to be most space efficient, it probably could have fit into a much thinner sort of shelf of display to have a much lower ceiling in order to kind of keep all the parts and LEGO in this studio the most space efficient possible, but I couldn't possibly just have this thing sitting away, kind of out of view from everybody else. In fact, this is viewable from the live streaming rig, and that was sort of intentional. So if you guys do watch us from our live streaming station, you usually can always see this in the background, at least a little bit. But that's kind of its final resting spot. For now, I have an idea about maybe changing its location in the future, but I really do like it's like right in the middle of sort of our main big display room. So I kind of like that a lot. And let's see what else is going on. I mean, these are just some general sets. Some of these you'll recognize from episodes. In fact, I think we've made episodes on all of them, maybe minus that. We've had that forever. But I am kind of working on doing some little micro builds in the future. We did a GR35 build a while ago. This was copied from another awesome mock creator. And I'm also still just working on the last parts of the MIDI scale Falcon. But I have an idea of creating an entire fleet that wants to scale with that. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. I'm going to move around, trying not to move the camera a little too fast. I think I was doing that too fast last time I showed you guys the studio, and people were sort of complaining in the comment section, understandably, because things were just a little bit too blurry and I was kind of moving through the shelves a little bit too quickly. So that's kind of why we're going at a slightly slower pace. And I'm just going to sort of, talk to you about sort of some stuff that I like. This is the Swordfish 2, a little mock that also I copied. Extremely difficult. The internals of that mock are absolutely insane. But what I noticed, because this little dome is supposed to be like a single man cockpit right there, these guys, the little statuettes for the NASA Apollo Saturn V, they scale pretty well with that. So I haven't done the exact measurements, but I have a feeling that Swordfish 2 scales nearly perfectly with the NASA Apollo Saturn V set, which makes me really happy for some reason. Let's move on back down towards, towards wherever the heck we're going. This is the Sea Barracuda, the original set that my brothers and I had from when we were little kids, which is kind of fun. So that's definitely going to be going through a cleanup at some point. I mean, look at those black Lego pieces. This is from 1989, and I'm pretty positive this has not been taken apart probably since 1989 or early 90s at the very latest. So this thing, I think there's a few broken parts too that we have to sort of reorder for the mast, but that's gonna end up being a project for the future. Now, this is clutter, right? This is a bit too much. There's a few vehicles that are kind of lying on top of each other in a not very attractive way. Sorry, Batman sets. This is a little bit better. Still cluttered, but the organization of the clutter has gotten, well, at least a little better. At least they're sort of at right angles with each other. And then at the top here, this is our current setup for all of our BrickHeads displays. I kind of want to bring them lower down at a certain point because they're so high up and they're so small. But I'll find a spot for that in the future. We have the Boba Fett and Han Solo, I think currently in transit to us at the moment, right as we speak. Now, I have shown off the live streaming rig before, but this is what we have now. I've been walking around it. It is on wheels, and the entire rig is set up to roll around. I do have a different case for the computer at the back, and it is attached to the wheeled sort of structure that everything is on, including the lights here and the camera. I think the only thing not attached is that one single camera, but in theory we can roll this thing around wherever we want, or if we want more space in the studio, we can either put this into the light room or into Mike's office or something like that. But yeah, that's the current state of the live streaming rig. Also, this screen, way, way, way bigger. Really awesome. It's like totally HD. We absolutely love it. And boom. Let's move into the light room. I know I showed this off, not in an official update, but I did show this off, sort of the updated version of what the light studio looks like now. So we got an extra IKEA table, and we really sort of elongated this whole area. This is kind of a staging area. Some of the stuff is either stuff we've just turned into episodes or things we are about to turn into episodes. And this little white box here, this is what we used to shoot all of our beauty shots from back when this channel was just in my brother's garage. So, right, so this is stuff that will eventually turn into an episode pretty soon. Most of this stuff is just all meant for soon to be put into the actual light table here. So I'm pretty happy with the way this thing is set up. Very happy, in fact. It really does sort of widen out all the space, and now we have a lot more room to be sort of messy with our sort of general lighting and general equipment stuff. So that's really, really nice to have. The studio is so much better off because of all that extra space. Now, I guess I'll show you this deep, dark dungeon. Let's see, is the light... sometimes it's on motion sensor, but I think... There we go. Now the light is back on. This is Mike's editing room. There's a lot of black and sort of, it's kind of like a dungeon and really blank on one side. That's for sound dampening. I have a feeling we could probably take some of those blankets off, but I think Mike has probably tested it out at this point, and he needs that, unfortunately, on the wall. But this is something you might recognize. This is our gigantic AT-AT. In fact, we were doing some measurements for it, and it's above minifig scale. It is larger than minifig scale for an AT-AT, but almost perfect scale for an AT-ACT with the orange side panels from Rogue One, and they have the slightly different shape of the head. So that would be kind of a fun custom modification. I mean, it's always kind of nerve-wracking to move this thing around. In fact, it's in this part of Mike's office because it's got sort of no traffic. There's no foot traffic. We're not going to be walking by this table very often and possibly bumping into the corners and knocking this thing over. It's not, I would say, delicate. It's not delicate, but, you know, it's just top heavy, and if you do bump it the wrong way, it could go over. This is the most recent set of, the most recent wave of Star Wars sets, I should say. I have a feeling that we're going to be moving these around. I like some of these a lot, that I want to kind of keep them out in a more open part of the display area for the studio. But I can say right now that these stud guns here on the Star Destroyer, those are absolutely going to turn into a custom modification video at some point, because I think they look super ugly, and in general this model actually looks pretty good. So I feel like there's a pretty easy way to do justice by that design, at least for my own personal aesthetic. Now there's a lot of random stuff. There is no theme here. I mean, there's some Star Wars. There's a custom helicopter and some Ninjago, and then, right, you know, Minecraft and Star Wars. It doesn't really matter. This is where we just find good parts for space efficiency. You can see how high this is to the top ceiling. Often that dictates where we are not going to be putting certain sets. I really do want to end up getting this thing hung up onto the wall at a certain point. I think it's going to look awesome because it kind of looks like the bat symbol from a top profile. And it just kind of goes up and up and up. And we're still not running out of space entirely. I know we have like a bunch of TIE fighters right here, but there is a whole other section at the top ceiling. And yeah, so that's what we have in Mike's office here. I'm trying to walk backwards and kind of slowly, hopefully not shaking the camera up too much. But right, so his office has definitely filled out a bit, and I think we might go to IKEA and get another set of shelving, and just bring out a new section in case we start running out of space. But let me move on through. This is the deep dark hallway. Let's move into the city. Now, Mike did a city update, so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of city stuff. In fact, I'm not going to focus on it at all. I'll just link Mike's recent city update video for you guys because he did that just a couple of days ago. So he, it's going to be just as updated as it is from those days, and it's going to be a much better, more fully dedicated video. This is something that if you were watching our live stream from last week, you'll know that it took me 5 hours to take that Batman display. It used to be really long and narrow, and I widened it. So it's three times as big. Technically, it should be able to fit 3 times as many minifigs. I did run out of a few little stand pieces for where the Batmans are supposed to fit on here, so I have to order a few more parts. But as of right now, the amount of Batmans on the stand right there are 52 with 4 Bruce Waynes, so 56, and the stand can hold 181 figs. If we add all of the Robins, all the Batgirls, all the Alfreds, and Commissioner Gordons, there's still going to be about 80 spaces left. And the main thing there is that's going to be sort of a forever display, or at least a display that should last for several years. And it takes a lot of figs off of our Marvel DC comprehensive total collection display here. So once I add the Robins and the Alfreds and the Batgirls, I think they're pretty much all of that row right here. That'll be another row totally gone. I even have the Mica toy block tape adding some guys to the side. So this thing should be lasting another couple years, I have a feeling. So that's a good feeling to think that we don't have to reorganize our entire collection of guys. And if you're looking closely for the Comic-Con exclusive figs, we don't keep them out in the open here. We actually don't even keep them in the studio. They're in another part of San Diego, which I cannot say, but we do have all those Comic-Con figs. We just don't keep them loosely on display. You're looking at what is mostly Star Wars. I mean, it's all the Star Wars figs, but there's also some other figs from other connections, from other collections. But before I get into that, this is where we've put our most recent wave of Lego Ninjago movie sets. Personally, one of my favorite singular waves from any theme, maybe ever. I mean, I'm trying to be really objective and not be super nostalgic about certain themes that I really liked when I was younger, but I think just in general, to the quality of the builds that we got, the diversity of the builds that we got, and the price and everything, I mean, this really was a super excellent wave, and I like having them sort of high up and sort of silhouetted. It would be nice if maybe the blinds were a different color, but they're silhouetted pretty well, and I like these guys a lot. All the sets are amazing. Underneath are all of the figs for them. So on this side, it's all the collectible figs, maybe with a few of the other guys from the sets. And then it's pretty much all the minifigs from the sets there, and even a little bit down there. Now there's some stuff kind of hanging out a little bit randomly on the shelves. That is because Mike, when he was doing the city update from a few days ago, he took a lot of the cluttered stuff out of the city. In fact, my own personal aesthetic, I probably would have taken maybe half of the boats and planes out of the ocean still. It looks still pretty cluttered in my eye, but it is definitely doing a lot better than it was before. But hey, this isn't a city update, so I'm not going to show you too much. If you do want to learn more about the city, check out the link in the description. But this is all of the Ninjago figs. So we've got Ninjago, oh, Harry Potter. Yep. Not all Harry Potter figs, just all the main characters. We're currently working on getting the rest, though. That is going to be probably twice as many minifigs, though, I have a feeling. So, yep, pretty much all the way up through and through. And before I get into Star Wars, this is our Minecraft display, custom little display we made. I ordered twice as many parts here to extend the Minecraft display twice as long. So there's quite a few guys that aren't here, but in a bag, that do need to go up on display because there's quite a few more new Minecraft characters that we don't have there. So that will be a fun video. That might end up being a live stream. And then as we go down, this is just all of the Star Wars guys. It kind of just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. I've made videos on just about all of these collections. There's a few that I almost like skipped out on. I mean, just for making a collection video on. So they'll be coming probably towards the end of this year. And you can see I haven't bothered to reorganize the Leias. That's the latest Leia from the UCS Millennium Falcon. I just haven't bothered to reorganize these guys. So some of them are sort of doubling up on each other. When I go through that, I might do a whole de-dusting thing and reorganizing party, which could take probably all day, I have a feeling. But yeah, so I don't think we have a collection video on maybe all of the Rebel soldiers or something like that. But for the most part, there have been comprehensive collection videos on all these guys. They're slowly but surely getting added onto. I'm trying not to do an update video for the entire collection every time, you know, like one new guy gets added to it. So hopefully I can get around to some of them at the end of this year. But if you don't see me update every single one of these Star Wars collections, it's just because they only added 1 or 2 guys, and I feel like just waiting maybe a second year or something to add maybe a couple more troopers or whomever is getting added to each collection video to do its own separate video once again. So that is most, yeah, I think I'm skipping out on maybe 1 or 2 of the rows at the bottom. Did I show off the Jedi all the way at the bottom? Probably not, but you kind of get the general idea. There's a lot. There's an absolute boatload. So many figs. Okay. Up above, this is definitely going to be turned into a video though. This is very disorganized, but we should have all of the monsters and beasts that belong to Star Wars throughout the different generations. So we should have them all there. I haven't done a comprehensive run through for this particular setup, but I'm pretty sure we have the beasts, and they're also kind of just mixed in with some random parts. I honestly don't know who put this up on the wall, but I kind of like it. You know, it's just some train tracks held up by a nail. And this airline is just too big to fit into our airport. But if you hung it here, doesn't it kind of look like it would be a peace sign? I don't know. I kind of want to work on that at some point. Oh no, can I get it back on? Oh, I think I can. Stay. Okay. Let's move out. There's not a whole lot more stuff for you guys to see except for my office. Motion sensor. Okay, there we go. So this is my office. Yeah, it's not usually, I don't know, this is about standard. It can be messier, it can be cleaner. It really just depends. Also right here is sort of where I'm playing around with some of the scales for the micro ships that will scale with the GR35 I mentioned towards the beginning of this little tour. So this is the proper stud length for the Millennium Falcon. That's the proper stud length for a Y-Wing and an X-Wing respectively to the GR35. This is a little bit too long. And this guy, Snowspeeder, might also be just a tiny bit too long. Come on, you gonna focus? Yeah, I like this. This is a really old design, but this one looks pretty good. But I think there's a way to do it and make it even slightly shorter. So anyways, that's, I don't know, I don't really have a whole lot of interesting stuff going on my desk. And then this is sort of the main backdrop that a lot of you guys might be used to seeing from some of our more well-edited collection videos or review videos. This is usually our intro and outro scene or background that you guys see when those BrickVault doors open and close. So this is what that is. And I did mention that there might be another resting place for the Ultimate Collector Series Falcon, and I kind of want it to replace this. I kind of want it to replace the Ultimate Collector Series Star Destroyer. The only problem is this would be, the Falcon would be too flat, and it's also too wide. It wouldn't fit. It would hit the back wall, and then it wouldn't stay on the bottom stand. So it would actually have to have its own custom stand that lifts it up and sort of tilts the whole Falcon forward. That way you can see more of the Falcon on display, kind of like it's flying, and it can be pushed back far enough to where it's gonna fit. But that would require a gigantic custom build stand. And at the moment, we haven't had the time to design it, but I have a feeling somebody else is eventually going to do that design. And I always have to show this guy off as much as absolutely possible. Yes, a video for him is coming out at some point. I just don't know when. Maybe soon. I hope soon. All right, so I'm gonna mosey on back to the main center room for the studio. This has been kind of it's honestly a pretty quick once over. I'm looking at the time scale now. It's been over 20 minutes. So sorry about that if that's a bit of a long video, but that is going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed our current update video for the BrickVault Lego Studio. This is always a lot of fun to kind of show off. I feel like it doesn't change that often for me, so I know it's been a while since we updated, and sometimes I think it's probably been there's probably a lot of things that have changed since the last time I did a comprehensive update. I just haven't really noticed that much. But anyways, that is it for this episode. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Remember, if you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.